the attention of a child, you don't do something artificial. You just be yourself, be natural, and do what feels appropriate. Now, also you want to keep the attendance or attention of your audience. Now, imagine your child transforming into an teenager. You want to keep the attention of the easily distractible audience. The third step is to be passionate. The idea here is not to be, the idea here is not to what you want to say, but the idea here is that why you are saying that. Let the emotion behind your speech come out and let go of your inhibition. In this article, the author has given an example of a lady who was going to retire soon, and she was planning a talk with her colleagues that what she valued most in the organization. When she began her speech, it was a bland commentary on hard work, but as soon as she began to explore the emotion underneath that, when she recalled about her mother, that how she helped her in getting where she is today, then the speech turned into something memorable. Now the last part is the listening to your audience. The audience doesn't communicate directly with the speaker, but rather they are involved in an indirect form of communication. That is, the audience communicate through non-verbal means. It is the speaker's job to it is the speaker's job to pick up through these verbal cues and feels what the audience is feeling. Now, based on that, the speaker can increase his pace, can change his language, and cut short his speech. And that is all from our side. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Abdas and Saqib, for a good presentation. And now let us listen to the other two presenters also, and then we will start with the process of feedback and talk about the content of these presentations. Right. So let us move ahead. And Shagun and Arish. Yes.
Yes, sir. Wait a minute, sir. Just my partner has some difficulty with the laptop, and I'm trying to open it. Arish, do you have some connectivity?
No, I can't connect. Actually, it's showing the same error in my laptop. I can't correct. I can't log in from here. Shagun, can you please log in?
I'm trying. Is the slide is showing?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Today, me and my partner Mohammed Arish is going to present a presentation on how to pitch a brilliant idea. It is edited. It is presented by Kimberly D. Elspeth. In his long career, Kimberly D. Elspeth divided the world of pitchers and catchers into various types and in various categories. So first, we have to study who are pitchers and who are catchers. Pitchers are the persons who generally create an idea, who inspire from something and create an idea, who do not have the capability of financial and other necessary things, and take this idea to the catchers. Catchers are the persons with the financial ability and connections who can provide the pictures with the things they need. So in this world, not a successful idea or a successful pitch not only depends on the qualities of a pitch, but also on the pitcher or the person who presents the pitch. It depends on its creative ability and the problem-solving ability. The catcher judges a person not only on his idea but also his capabilities. We all want to believe that the other people view us by our inner qualities or by inner heart. But is this the case? Is this the reality? No. People base us on the first thing they notice about us. Research suggests that in the first 15 seconds, they have a general idea on us, and in the first 30 meetings, they have a long-lasting impression. It is very far away from our view that people should judge us on our inner qualities. I think this is why it is rightly said that the first impression is the last impression. In his long career in Hollywood industry, the author or the editor in his various pitches, which he judged or in which he was involved in various Hollywood directors and in various business pitches like marketing or tech pitches, he noticed that the pitches can be divided into three types, which can be said that showrunners, artists, and neophytes. Now we will study who are showrunners, artists, and neophytes. First, showrunners. Showrunners are the people who combine creative thinking and passions. It can be said that they do not have only the idea and the passion to create a general idea, but they also know how the standard industrial practices apply or how to promote this idea on the real scenario. This is why they are very much wanted by the catchers. They takes the catchers or they want to involve the catchers in their general idea. They try to cooperate with them or collaborate with them. For example, let's say I am a pitcher and I want to think about a scenario. Like, do you remember the cartoon channel, cartoon show Popeye the Sailor Man, in which he eats spinach and gains the power? Now think about a new character on the basis of Popeye the Sailor Man, but real sci-fi effects. Whereas the earlier Popeye the Sailor Man had very low visual effects, but in this new idea, the visual effects will be better. So in this way, the showrunners try to create a shared memories or collaborate with their catchers. They try to involve the catchers in their idea so as to make them believe that the idea is better. Because if a person believes that he or he himself is involved in that idea, he will definitely promote this. In the real scenario, the author find that in all the successful pitchers, almost 20% of the successful pitchers are showrunners. They are very high in demand by the catchers. Next, find out about the artists. Artists are also the persons who are very creative thinking and minded passions. For example, let's say they are the people who say we are nerds, something like nerds, but they are very creative in their inner world. They are shy and social awkward, and they generally have less or very no idea of the real industries. In this way, for all the implementation of the project, they depend on the catchers for this. That's why it is known as the artists can have much better idea than the showrunners, but they are very poor in their implementations. Like, for example, I will take myself as a pitcher. In the case of artists, let's think about a scenario or a screenwrite in which you are studying and I am also studying you and I also are studying in the MBA department in the AMU. We just got a notification that India is being invaded by the aliens, by their spaceships, and their spaceships are all over the Delhi and other parts of India. We also just got a notification that one spaceship above the AMU circles, and we all just ran from the classes and towards the outer circles of the AMU. And this can be a scenario in which I try to bring you all into my idea, in which I control the complete idea, and you are very involved in this. We are very likely to think yourself in my world, which I created, which is based on my idea. In showrunner case, he tried to involve you also. He tried to involve catchers also. But in this scenario, I am in total complete control. I think this is from my side, and and the next part will be presented by my colleague Muhammad Aris.
Hello, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So till now we have completed the two types of pictures. Now the third one is the neophyte. So we will discuss the third one. So the neophyte is that they tend to or act as if they were young, which are opposite of showrunners. Instead of displaying about their expertise, they basically plead ignorance. Neophytes score points for daring to do the impossible, something catchers see as refreshing. For they consciously exploit the power differential between the pitcher and the catcher by asking directly and boldly for help, not in a desperate way, but with the confidence of brilliant favorite, a talented student seeking sage advice from the beloved mentor. After this, we have completed the three types of pitchers, that is the showrunners and the artists and the neophytes. After that, we have the negative stereotype. There are four types of negative stereotypes that are guaranteed to kill a pitch. So the first one is pushover. He would rather unload an idea than defend it. A pitcher simply offers a change. Actually, in pushover, what happens is that if a pitcher offers some change to the catcher, so a pitcher is offered a change in his idea, so the catchers just see that will he willing to change or not. If he change, then the pitchers see that he really did not care about the idea. And the second one comes in about the second one's negative stereotype is the robot. He represents a proposal too formulaically as if it had been memorized from a how-to book. He responds questions with canned answers from his PowerPoint talk, something like that. And after that, we come to the third one, the used car salesman. So in the third one, what happens is he's that type of obnoxious one, argumentative character too often deployed in a consultancy and corporate department. After that, we come for the fourth one. The fourth one negative stereotype is the charity case. In this, he is just needy. He or she he or she just want a job. When they sense that they are going to be turned down, they begin other things which we'll have to discuss. After that, after completing all this, there exist some questions. The first question that exists is that which of the three types is most likely to be succeed? In out of these three, which of the three types is most likely to be succeed? So the answer for this is the catchers look for showrunners. So artists and neophytes can win the day through enchantment and charm. This is the thing. And for this, how do one make positive impression if one don't have if one don't fit into the three types of stereotypes in one of the three types of stereotypes? So in this, we'll say that if one already have a reputation, we probably don't need to disguise yourself as a showrunner, artist, or a neophyte, because a resume full of success is the best calling card. But if you can't rely on your reputation, you should at least make an attempt to match yourself to the type you feel most comfortable with, if only because it's necessary to get in foot in the catcher's door. The third question that exists after this is that what if one don't want the catcher's input into the development of one's idea? So this aspect of pitch is important, that one should make a priority. One should engage the catchers as soon as possible in the development of the idea. Once the catcher feel like a creative collaborator, the odds of rejection diminish. So this is all from my side, and sorry for the delay.
All right. So thank you, Shagun and Arish. So let us have a quick round of applause for everyone who presented today. So thank you for making the effort. So let us now start with the feedbacks. And let us start with the presenters themselves. And the first two presenters, Abdas and Saqib. So, what do you think of yourself, and how do you assess your performance of this?
Sir, our content was a bit less. We tried to add more examples, but I couldn't find a relevant example. We added one or two, but they could have been more.
Okay. And what about your performance?
Sir,
It was
we
okay.
could have improved on the timing, and we could have bring the closure on the case study of Karen, which we did not because I was busy and we couldn't prepare that. But that's my excuse. But I think that is what was missing from our presentation.
Okay. So, any suggestions for Abdas and Saqib from anyone? How can they improve upon their part of presentation? Nothing in the chat box also. All right. So let us move to the next two presenters, Shagun and Arish.
Yes, sir.
Shagun, what do you think?
Sir, actually, I have very less experience in presenting something or presentation. So I think my communicative skills are not much better. I usually repeat myself or some, uh, I have some difficulty in communications, and I think I have to practice that while presenting myself in front of all the colleagues and in front of all greater audience.
Okay. What about Arish?
Sir, I think that last time I am more nervous than now. So now I am a bit good than before. But I'll say that actually this all has been made by, mostly the effort in the presentation has been made by the Shakun Bhai. I have to present this slide by my left, but at the last time he saved me. So at the last moment when I got disconnected by my laptop, I got a bit nervous, but I think that it's good, sir. There are some errors which I think that we have to work upon.
So I think in the real scenario, these things happen. I think in how we push forward in this scenario, it really matters. Just like he disconnected, I think it can happen in the real case. And how we push forward in this scenario, it what really matters.
All right. So, any suggestions for Shagun and Arish from anyone? How and what are the areas where they can improve? Okay. So, let me start by my feedback. See, there are 2-3 hygiene issues which everyone need to take into account when you are presenting. And we talked about those hygiene issues, I think, when we were talking about presentation skills also. Say, for example, what is the position of your camera? Okay. So right now, I cannot see Abdas properly. So Abdas is visible, but and during the presentations, you were a bit more ahead. So we were not able to see your forehead. So when these things are very small things and these things are very controllable things, okay? And because of these things, your presentation should not get affected, these angles and all. And how you can prevent it by if you can do a dress rehearsal, we can say, or practice sessions among yourself and can take a proper feedback on that. So the distance of all of these things and all. So as a presenter, what I would say that though if you are attending a class, I can say, okay, that is fine. But if you are presenting something and you are the attention of the audience, you have the attention of the audience, then you should take care of it, like be more sensitive to all of these things and You can check these things. Okay, so just to make sure that sometimes the camera is shaky also. Okay, so you have put it somewhere, or you are like at the if you are using mobile phone in an emergency, and you don't have a proper standee or something, so it gets a bit shaky also. So all of these things are important, because the moment now, because it's a computer mediated communication which is going on. Okay, it's a screen mediated communication. So take care of the medium, that is the screen, first thing. Now, second point which I noted in the first presentation itself, that the slides, some of the slides were very nicely made, in that you have used some visuals and all. But in the initial few slides, I found that there were too much text. And what was the missing part when you started was that you did not pay too much attention, or did not explain that what you are going to do in this presentation. Okay, so you have to take some time in explaining to the audience that this presentation will be about this, and this is what you will learn in this presentation, or this is what you will take out from this presentation. So you have to be very, very clear of the outcome which you expect the audience to take back. Okay, so how to be an authentic speaker, say for example. So that's a title, but then you have to basically explain. You talked about Nick Morgan, but then you have to talk about that. Okay, the central idea. Okay, so we all feel we are all in the business of speaking somewhere or the other. Then how to become an authentic speaker is a very important question. So you basically raise the enthusiasm of your participants or your audience, okay, by showing them something that at the end of the other side of your talk or your speech or your presentation, there is something to look forward to. Okay, so that's what you have to do when you start a presentation. So everyone, please note this down, that whenever you start a presentation, you have to break a little bit. That's why we call it introduction, body, and conclusion. 3 steps. Remember the golden three rule. Okay. So introduction, I found that introduction was a bit missing. Yes, you can use an attention getter, like what Abdas you did. You started with an example. That's very good. But if you are using an attention getter, so use an example that the audience can connect with. Okay, not the one. If the example given in the text in the article is such that everyone in your class can connect with it very quickly, there's nothing wrong in using that example. But what I'm saying, because in the first introduction part, you are not again coming to the meat of the presentation, but what you are trying to do, you are setting the audience up. Okay, you are waking them up from their sleep. So use something which they can connect to. So that's what you can do. 2-3 points, that once you start a presentation, make sure that you make your audience aware that what is in store for them. Okay, so how it will benefit them. So everyone is interested in what's in it for me. Your audience, your classmates today as your audience, okay, they were interested in hamare liye kya hai? What's in it for them. Okay, so you show them the enthusiasm. Okay, you will learn this thing. This is a very important skill. That's what you have to do in the initial part of the presentation, and then maybe use some attention getter and all these things. So that's what I noted, that in the initial parts you can use these 2-3 things. Second is obviously, yes, content may be less or more. Okay, but if you first, you have to internalize the idea. The idea is more powerful. Okay, and once you have an idea, you have a lot of other things how you can communicate that idea. Okay, so if you think that if your content is slim, then you can add a lot of other things to it. You can use media, maybe visuals more, and then maybe, or use questions more. Okay, questions are also very important to use in a presentation. Asking questions to the audience, posing questions, allowing them to think, giving them some time to think. Okay. So Satib, you can note that you very nicely. I really like the idea when you the example which you were using. You are connecting the examples from from around. Okay. So if you have examples which are there in the text in your article, which are, say, for example, in the Western context and all this context, you can change the context. Okay. You can have a similar context, similar situation, maybe change the name, because they are using the examples from now. Similarly, say if they are using, say, for example, Jack and Jill. So if you use the example like Yash and Keshu, so then everyone in the class will like pay attention. I am sure about it. Okay. So just by changing the name, you can get the attention back of your audience. Okay. And nobody will mind. I am sure that Keshu and Yash will not mind. Okay. So that's what you can do. So it breaks the monotony. Please also make sure that you break the monotony in between. Okay. So it should not be like this. It should be like, okay, like a heartbeat. It goes like this. So your presentation, the more ups and downs it has, the chances of people paying attention again and again goes up. Okay. So that's what you can note down. So now coming to the second presenters, which what I like that some of the examples I like, some of the scenarios which they explained I like, especially when they were talking about what you call the used cars, the artist. The example I really like that how you were talking about the artist, the example which you used. However, what I would advise you that you need some help, and in fact you need some practice in making slides. First thing, please note this point, both of you. So slides, your slides were not good. So you need to pay attention to how you build your slides. I noted some spelling errors also in that slide. Most of the text what you used in your slides was copy paste from your article. Okay. Now I would never advise you to do that. Sometimes we as teachers have to do it. Sometimes definitions and all these things, and some set from, if you are using some example from a textbook, maybe we have to use that, but you should not do it. Now you don't have any compulsion to use those same expressions which are there in the article. What is more important is that you internalize the idea. So why I'm saying this, and this is important to note, what many of us do is that we immediately start making the presentations, reading the article and starting with the tool, PowerPoint presentation, and using. That's I want to warn you again and again. If you do this, use this strategy, skip one step in between, your slides will never be good. Never be good. Whatever the presentation is. Okay. Remember this. You have to have one paper in between. Okay. There is an article or the content of your presentation. There is the slide, or the slide software is there. Okay. In between, there has to be a brainstorming activity. Uske liye ya to paper, you use a paper to jot down your ideas, to draw your ideas, or say for example you use a whiteboard. If you are two people you are doing together, whiteboard, there's a whiteboard on Zoom also. You can use it together, your friends. Okay, whiteboards. It's another. It's a free tool, and on Google also Jamboard. It's called. Okay, so if there are 4 people collaborating, you can collaborate together on Jamboard. Okay, so always use something in between. Then your ideas, and finally you put your ideas on the slides. They are much refined. Okay, and they are much to the point. So you can use less of text. Please use less of text, more of visuals. Okay, more of visuals, because you PowerPoint is not the presentation. We call it PowerPoint presentation. You are giving a presentation. PowerPoint is a tool you are using. Okay. So no hard and fast rule to use PowerPoint and sticking to making heavy slides. Please do not do that. Okay. Check the spellings if you are using it. It looked very odd. So it also gives an impression that you sometimes are not serious, though you do not mean to be. Okay. So please make sure that your spellings and all these things are there and that. Then, especially Arish, I noted one thing in your, that when you are like, you don't have to get nervous. I understand that there was a technology glitch was there. Now, you should anticipate these technology glitches. Okay. When you are using technology glitches can happen. So do not get nervous by that. And when you are making a transition from one section or one idea to another idea, take some time, give a pause, and let the idea sink in your audience. So now what I noted that when you were talking about from pictures and you were basically going toward the pushovers and the used cars, car salesman example and all these things. So it was abrupt. Okay. You finished one and started the other. So I'm sure that many of the students may have not got that idea that, okay, they are separate and this is basically a separate idea. So think from the perspective of the audience, because now it's very easy for you to do it because you yourself are students. Everyone is student here. You can empathize with your classmates very well. The last point which I want to make, in both the presentations, you lacked summary. Like yesterday also I pointed this out, that usually audience take away only the end part. So you ask, after your class today ends, okay, you ask your classmates, call anyone randomly, okay, not your partner, call anyone and ask, did you remember what I discussed in the class? What was my idea? What was the idea I was trying to explain? So, and get the feedback. Then you will realize that what is the impact of it. Now, why I'm saying this is important to understand, because when you are in a business situation, you are in the business of influencing others. You are in the business of communicating your ideas to others. Now, if, say, for example, you have prepared, say, 1 week for preparing a presentation and getting a new product idea in front of the employees or in front of your team. Okay, just imagine that you presented and half an hour after the presentation, you ask one of your colleague, did you like the idea what I presented? And that person says, I really did not get it, what you are trying to say. Then imagine this expression and what will happen to your confidence and what will happen to you. This is the practice which we are doing here. Okay, all of you are going to present a lot of brilliant ideas in your careers. Okay, we are all in the business of selling ourselves. Okay, selling our ideas. So sell it in a way that others buy it. Okay, and others cherish it. So empathize from the audience perspective. So summary is very important. The last part, ending with a bang. Okay, this is what it is. You take it back. Okay, like you remember that famous. I showed you that example of Steve Jobs. Okay, he dramatized it a bit. 3 products. Okay, a phone, an internet connector, and so, an iPod, and all. And then he presented, okay, these are all in one. That's what you are taking. So the summary of an idea is very important. You summarize the idea for your audience, and they take it and they take back that idea. So this is more or less what I wanted to cover in terms of feedback to all of you. I think these are some of the points which you should note. And like Shagun said, and like Arish also said, that every time, and this is a manifestation, this is basically a testimonial of this, that every time you give a presentation, every time you take an effort and make an effort in presenting yourself, the better you become. Okay. So do not miss these opportunities and grab these opportunities and make use of these opportunities. Okay. And try to create more opportunities. See, earlier, when we did not have, when usually, because the course curriculum is such, we do not get chance to present in every class. Okay. But I don't know, there are teachers who don't give presentations when I see that in some of the subjects. However, when we were there as students, we used to have clubs, small clubs in our MBA also, and we used to have still we have committees in system in here, and it was very it was a fun when you organize these things, and these things were organized among the students themselves. Okay, there was no teacher involvement was there. Only sometime there was some teacher who would come as a judge or some giving comments and all these things, but otherwise it was just a student activity. So these things are important. So create opportunities among yourself for presentations, for speaking and expression of ideas, because no matter how brilliant you are, and one of the feedback which we have got about our students, and I'm being very honest with you right now, this is a feedback which I have got with multiple of recruiters or alumni who have recruited from our university, our department, even generally our university. So they say that your students have depth. They know things, but they don't express it. They lack expression. Now that's a feedback which I wanted to give you, pass it on to you, because you need to express yourself better. Okay, and the more you get the chance of expressing it better, the more better you will become in this activity. Okay, so having a good idea in the presentation, you had mentioned that in the slide you had mentioned that, okay, you may have a brilliant idea, but if you're not able to sell that idea, if you're not able to communicate that idea, so the idea is lost. Someone else will do that. Okay, and that's what the content is. Today's presentation has been about. Okay, in the first presentation, we talked about how to be an authentic speaker. Now, when we talk about authentic speaker, we also have to understand what is an unauthentic speaker is. So who do we call an authentic speaker? A person who is naturally connected with the audience. Okay, who is naturally connecting with the audience. That's an authentic speaker. But there's an unauthentic speaker who is basically more inward focused, who is more focused on what he is trying to basically convey, and not focused on what the people are trying to take in. Okay, neglecting the audience. That's an unauthentic speaker. But there's also a poor speaker. There is an authentic speaker, there's an unauthentic speaker, and there is a poor speaker. And poor speaker, who is a poor speaker? Who lacks confidence, who lacks sincerity, who lacks preparation. So there are three levels, not just authentic and unauthentic, but there's a poor speaker also. So if you don't prepare properly, you are a poor speaker. You need not even reach the level of authentic speaker. So try to be at that level. So it talks about the four very interesting the qualities of an authentic speaker. Being open. First is opening. Natural body language. And you develop natural body language once your fear goes away. Your stage fright, your fright in front of others, and all these things. That when that goes away, then you become natural speakers. You become open. Okay, you're not afraid of doing things, and that always comes with practice. Connecting with your audience. Again, so since I think in report writing, in presentation skills, and a lot of other things, and meetings and all, we're talking about audience. So everyone's talking about audience. Connecting with the audience. Audience has become so important. Okay. So think about what they want, what they already know. How do you are answering their questions, and how you are giving them solutions and all these things. Third is being passionate about things. So you can only be passionate about anything which you are speaking once you have internalized the idea. This is also, I am saying now, I think I have spoken this many times. You have an article, But if you don't internalize the idea of an article, of the central idea, why it is so important and what is the central message here, and how do you internalize from this kind of an article, which are heavy loaded articles, you read it couple of times. The first reading should be the free flow reading. That's it. एक बार read कर लिया, कुछ note नहीं किया, no notes, just end to end read. That's the first reading. The second reading is you basically take a pen or a marker or something, or you create your notes, whatever your style is. Okay, whatever your style is. Pencil से, किसी से, जैसे भी कुछ idea मिला, underline किया एक बार. Third is you again read it and refresh. Okay, have you missed anything? Okay, you are getting the hang of it. So then you basically underline the notes. This is the major one. This is the central idea. This is the secondary idea. This is the tertiary idea. Okay. फिर notes को edit करना है. Third reading के बाद notes edit करें. And then basically you went to you can read it the fourth time also, but after the third reading you will get the hang of things. And then you basically move on to designing your slides. First it's designing and then preparing your slides. Then you basically get it across. So there are so many examples of people who have done this excellently. They have practiced this art a lot. The second article was about how to pitch a brilliant idea. And it say that we are all in the business of pitching ideas. We pitch sometimes an innovation to our boss. We pitch our products to our clients. We pitch our business ideas to venture capitalists as entrepreneurs. We sometimes pitch in front of our friends and family also. Okay? Different kind of ideas. We also pitch ideas to our subordinates, our peers, so that they work with us. Okay? They feel passionate about what we are working on. So, but what happens is in real life, there are a lot of roadblocks when you are pitching an idea. And the first roadblock is that people are judgmental. If I am presenting in front of you, if someone, Shagun is presenting in front of you, you will make a judgment about Shagun, or you will make a judgment about me in the first, say, 120, 150 milliseconds or so. Whatever the. So you'll make a judgment about my ability, my style, or whatever it is, okay, my preparation. So that's first roadblock you have to basically overcome. So these first 150 milliseconds, or you can say this time is very, very important, very crucial to understand. And sometimes it is also governed by the past negative experiences. And once a negative feeling or negative judgment sets in your mind about someone, it is more salient than a positive one. Now I'm repeating this point. अगर आप किसी के बारे में बुरा सोचेंगे, अगर आपने किसी के बारे में बुरा जजमेंट बना लिया, okay, so that becomes more salient in your mind. That will remain in your mind. किसी के बारे में अच्छा जजमेंट बनाया तो वो शायद थोड़ी देर बाद चला जाएगा, बट अगर बुरा बनाया है तो वो रहेगा. That is a trick. And from a perspective of a pitcher who is pitching an idea, that is very dangerous. So the first 20 minutes you form lasting impressions about the other person. 20 minutes में तो आप उसकी पूरी personality को assess करके we note it down कि ये तो ऐसा है. So that's what human tendency is. So that's what it is talking about. And then it talks about that there are three kinds of people who pitchers. They can be classified into three kinds: showrunners, the artist, and the neophytes. Okay. And showrunners are people who basically show expertise about things. Artists are people who are more imaginative, and they will take you through a journey. More of a, like, you can think of like someone like Steve Jobs was an artist. Basically, he will take you in a journey of that sort. Or a novelist, okay, or a fantasy novelist, this very famous J.K. Rowling. Okay, so she takes you to a fantasy journey. So they are more of an artist, where they basically present their ideas. And in business world also, you will find those people very effective. Okay. Then the third is neophytes. Neophytes are basically they plead ignorance, surrender कर देते हैं. Okay, so surrender. So this is that you are mentor and I am here to learn. That's new fight. Okay. So this is basically what there are three types, and then you have to avoid being the pushover. And there are three kinds of pushovers. The one is the robot. The second is the used car salesman, charity case, and all these things. So this again, the central idea, which all of this is that when you have to pitch an idea properly, first about research about the audience again, okay, and then understand your own style. Whether you are a showrunner, whether you are a neophyte, whether you are an artist, and then basically understand what. And from the catcher's perspective, if you are catching the ideas, you are a catcher. आपको ideas throw करे जा रहे हैं. You are not a pitcher. आप catch कर रहे हैं. So you have to also make a judgment about the pitcher. So beware that who is authentic, who is unauthentic. So it goes back to the first article. Okay. So you have to make a judgment about who is making this up. Okay? Who is making this up. So that's the central idea of these two articles. And I think all of you must read these articles, and they have a lot of wisdom in them. Okay. So any doubt, any query from anyone? All right then. So I hope that today's session was beneficial and you will note down things which have been discussed today. And this will lead to improvement in the next presentations. So let us meet tomorrow. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.